Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been a while since my last video. The 12.6 patch has kind of thrown a monkey wrench into my content, but earlier this week BSG was kind enough to add some things to the hideout, so it gave me something to make a video on and kind of help you guys out and add value. So real quick here, we'll just dive into the list of everything they've added. Starting off at Intel Center level 2, they added the military COFDM wireless signal transmitter, the Vertex programmable processor, and the VPX flash storage module. All of these are now craftable. You used to only be able to find these in Raid, but now with the right components, you can make each of these. These are all important for quests, which is why I think this is going to be the biggest impact on most people of the items they've added, because it allows you to find some stuff that's pretty hard to find. It allows you to just now make it. You don't have to depend on RNG to get it. Next up, we'll go to Lavatory. Now at level 1, they added the Scav Backpack you can now craft, as well as the aseptic bandages. At level 2, you can craft the 60-round magazines, which are needed for the prop request, the 3M bodyguards, which are also needed for a quest, and lastly, the Tarzan M22 rig, which isn't needed for a quest, but it's a pretty good rig early on, and it can be pretty cheap to make. So that'll help some players out with the gear they need. Next, we'll go over to the med station. At level 2, you now are able to craft morphines, which again are found in Raid, which is needed for 2 quests. That makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about getting out with these actually and surviving the Raid to turn them in for the quest. And then lastly, the workbench. They created a new ammo, or not a new ammo, they added an ammo that you can now craft. And it's the M856A1 round for the 5x6x45. You know, ARs, HKs, couple of different kinds of guns out there. It requires M855 to make, and then a red gunpowder. So that's everything real quick and short. So I think what we'll do now is we'll kind of dive in and get into a little more detail. And first we'll do that at the Intel Center. They're all available at level 2, so you won't be stuck making only thumb drives anymore. There's quite a few things you can make now. The Vertex and the signal transmitter are both needed for Peacekeeper's task, Lend-Lease Part 2. You need 2 for 2 vertexes and 1 signal transmitter. To make the vertex, you'll need 2 military circuit boards. I know it doesn't show it right here, but that's because it's crafting right now. But you need 2 military circuit boards. You need 2 CPUs, and you need 5 capacitors. This is going to make one of the first real useful things for the MCBs. You can trade them for the thermal scopes, the beta container, and the Ash 12. But I don't find those really valuable. It's more valuable to me just to sell these things. But now that you can craft with them, there's something you can actually do. And I believe it's going to raise the value of these. They've already gone up to 60, 70,000, whereas they were selling for 35 to 40,000 just a day or 2 ago. So I'd get it on that. Even if you don't need them now, if you have the money, buy them and save them because they're only going to get more expensive. You can find the MCBs all over Tarkov. They show up in tech supply crates, the tech spawns, on reserve, and elsewhere, and in ground caches. The CPUs and capacitors, you basically find them in the same place. Again, tech spawns, but you can find them on scavs, in computers. And also you can make capacitors in your workbench by breaking down a PSU. Gives you 8 of them with a PSU and a red-handled screwdriver. And if all of that fails, you can simply buy them off of the flea market. Again, as demand for these increases, you're going to start to see these creep up in price. CPUs have a pretty good barter, so you're not going to see them come down in price very much. If anything, they're going to go up. And capacitors are needed for tons of hideout. Right now, they're cheap, but as more people get further along, they're going to get more expensive as people need them to do their various hideout upgrades. We won't call this by the long name anymore, just the signal transmitter. It requires 1 MCB, 1 G-Phone X, and 1 power bank. Again, most of these are found at tech spawns. G-Phone X's turn up in pockets occasionally on scavs, tech spawns. They're also at marked circles, whether you're in woods or the actual locked mark rooms. And then power banks, again, you find these kind of in the tech spawns, but you can find them in caches, sports bags, again, technical supply crates, and in tech spawns, you know, like interchange and whatnot. So lastly, we have the VPX flash storage module. This is needed for the mechanic task import. This one takes 3 RAM modules, a SSD drive, and a regular broken G phone. The RAM can show up in caches, scavs, sports bags, and tech spawns. The SSD drives, a little bit harder, but I've gotten them on scavs, found them in caches, and also at tech spawns. And then the broken G phones, they show up in the same spots, but also in dead scavs, jackets, bags, drawers, things like that. Okay, next we'll hop over to the laboratory. Let me collect this so we can actually see. So the top two here are going to be the 3M armors and 60 round mags, since those are required for quests. The 3M armors take 2 aramids and 2 ripstops. Now, I don't think this trade's very good for a couple of reasons. One, at level 2 Ragman, you can barter for this with 1 of each of these instead of 2. So it costs more. Also, ripstops and aramids are needed for the textile quests later on with Ragman, and ripstop's actually pretty hard to find. So this, I don't think, is a good use for it unless you're buying it off the flea market, but it's not super cheap. So you're spending, right now, you'd be spending 30,000 to 40,000 to make a 3M, and they're selling for 23, whereas you can, and also you could barter for half of that as well, 15,000 at level 2 Ragman. The 60 round mags need 4 6L23 mags. These are just your basic level 30 round AK mags, and then 1 Keck tape. These are kind of expensive to make because of the Keck tape. You run 30 to 40,000 to buy those, and it's probably going to go up now that there's a craft for these and they're not just a high dollar item you can sell the therapist. But it gives you an option other than spending a bunch of money on the flea market to buy these magazines, because right now, they're running 75K. You could actually probably make some money selling these, because with these guys, they run 3,000 on the flea market, and at level 2 proper you can buy them as well as find them in raid pretty easily. The Scav Backpack craft is actually pretty good. You're using fleece and a ripstop, and if you buy these, so you got 1 ripstop, you're about 15,000, and you're about 10,000 for fleece. You're 25K, say 26K to build it, but you get 2 backpacks, and these guys are selling for 16K. So you're making a little bit of money doing these, or you just don't have to buy them. It's a little bit cheaper than buying them. These septic bandages, they take 1 fleece and make 6 bandages. Again, these are 10 to 12,000 right now, but you're making, let's say, pretty much equal cost in bandages if you're buying them from Therapist. And then lastly, we have the Tarzan Rig. I don't have much of an opinion on this yet because it's where it's at. You're going to need to buy these items. Again, you don't really want to use ripstop that's found in raid because you need it for a quest later, but it gives you an opportunity to get one of these rigs, I guess, if you can't buy it yet or if you don't have access to the flea market by the time you get your lavatory to level 2, but it's in there nonetheless, and they may do adjustments to this as time goes on. All of the fabrics can be found in caches, on scavs, and sports bags, and then in the clothing stores of Interchange. They can kind of spawn on all of the maps in various places. Like, for example, on Factory, I've picked them up off of the shelves in the hallway, and in the loose loot spawns, like the little yellow cart that's on the wall right by the silos, I've actually picked up ripstop and fleece and aramid from there, just running by, happened to see it. Over to the med station. Morphine is really the only one you can make. It takes 1 pile of meds. We'll do this right now just for giggles. 1 pile of meds, 1 painkiller, and then 1 syringe, which I already have. Now, you're not going to make money doing these because syringes cost what they cost. They're used for a couple other barters too. But what it does is it allows you to get your quest done, which is why I'm doing them right now, is for a quest that I don't have yet, but it's upcoming. And then lastly, the ammo over on the workbench. Now, jury's out on this. I haven't had really time to dig into it yet, but it takes M855, which you can buy from Peacekeeper at level 1 right away, but it's kind of expensive and it uses dollars, which are kind of short supply right at the start. Or you can buy it off the flea market. And then it takes 1 red gunpowder. And that'll make you your M856A1, which is basically the 3rd best round in Tarkov when it comes to the 5.56x45. Your 855A1 and your M995 being better. So that's all of the items they've added so far. Fingers crossed that more are on the way. The Intel Center is a game changer. It's going to make life a lot easier on some people and be able to get through some of these quests. And it may even provide an opportunity to make a little money. I'll do some digging and let you know about that here in a future video. So with that, I'll say farewell. If you guys found this video helpful, please like. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm a lot and getting this video pushed out to other people. If you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you do. It'll allow you to see these videos when they first come up, because I've seen in the past when I post something, some kind of trick I found, it's only a matter sometimes of hours, usually a day or two, but a matter of hours, and the market gets blown out because everybody jumps on real quick, buys up all the items, and starts crafting. So not only do your craftables get more expensive, but your items get cheaper that you're trying to sell. So the sooner you're in on the video, the less behind the curve you'll be. Thanks for watching the video and supporting the channel. I stream on Tarkov on Twitch. You can come over and say hi, ask questions anytime you want. Most of us are pretty knowledgeable. The group we play in. We also have a Discord that is full of folks that are looking for a group and like to help out if you have problems. I wish you the best of luck with making money in Tarkov, and we'll see you in the battlefield.